1, 2, 3, funk it.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Good Times with the Boys. German is feeling a little under the weather on this rainy Saturday, January 12th, 2019, which, I can't believe it's 2019. So I have a guest on. He's been our most frequent guest, and we're here to talk a little bit about everything. Welcome back to the show, Raph. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man.
He just turned 28, ladies and gentlemen. And my advice to him is that it just goes downhill from here. Exhibit A. I'm pointing at myself for everybody that's listening because I have a torn Achilles. But we're here to talk, cover a few things. We're both big Laker fans.
Yes.
We are both, in a sense, we're both somewhat of a romantic. We enjoy golf. I specifically only enjoy gambling on golf.
Yes.
And we'll get into all of that. But we're going to start off with something that's been in the airwaves recently. And it's affecting the most rich man, I think, in the planet, and affecting potentially the service that we use every single damn day. Mr. Jeff Bezos. Now, for those who may not know exactly the details, Jeff posted on Twitter, I believe. He's talking about him and his wife. I think her name's Miranda. He's getting a divorce after 25 years of marriage. They're going to be good friends still. It was amicable, this, that, and the third. And when I read that, I first thought, okay, there's these types of things happen.
Sure.
People can grow apart as they still are married. And, for the most part, in my mind, I thought, look, at least they're honest with each other. They don't want to put themselves through that. Mm-hmm. They're willing to separate but be good friends because they just understand they're separate people now. Then, the news of just everything else dropped. Turns out he was sort of having sexcapades with Lauren Sanchez, who I grew up watching on TV on the news.
Right.
And B, an additional plot twist is that Lauren is, or I think she's also going through some marital ups and downs, and so her husband, I don't know if they're completely divorced yet or officially.
I think they're just separated, but they're not.
Her husband is, I forgot his name. He's a very prominent agent in Hollywood under WME. He's like a senior. He just. So I read that and I was like, holy shit. Then his texts came out. Mm-hmm. And ladies and gentlemen, if there's anything we can learn from this, is that if you are going to have very intimate texts with your significant other, do not do it over iMessage, because it sounds like everybody that does it under iMessage is getting found out. Now, I'm going to read to you some of the texts that were, I guess, revealed. Let's see here.
Do tell.
Now, I'm gonna read it as plainly as I can, but at the same time, I feel like this is how he sees it in his brain.
Okay.
This is all apparent. Obviously, none of us have seen these texts.
Okay. Can you commit to the voices, by the way?
I don't know how he sounds, but
okay.
As of apparently May 13th last year, a text from Jeff to Lauren read, I want to smell you. I want to breathe you in. I want to hold you tight. I want to kiss your lips. I love you. I am in love with you. Biggity boopity boopity. Actually, that last part wasn't part of it, but
dang.
That was that. Sure, he feels like he's who's the author or who's a famous poet. Maybe he just thinks he's a poet.
Okay.
He says apparently the story goes 3 weeks after that weird ass text, he sent her a shirtless photo. Now, if anyone's seen, like, just Google image Jeff Bezos, I don't necessarily know if anybody, even himself, wants to see himself shirtless.
Mhm.
You know, at a certain age for guys, that's why all the old guys wear button-up polo long sleeves, is because
Mhm.
at a certain point, man, you just don't want to see that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
How old is Jeff again?
I have no idea.
55.
Oh, wait. Here you go. How's this for irony? Hey, Alexa,
Oh.
how old is Jeff Bezos?
Jeff Bezos is 55 years old.
Now, how's that for a plot twist?
1964.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, January 12th, today's birthday. Happy birthday, Jeff Bezos, you scumbag.
What are the chances?
Holy shit.
That's
this
so
is
funny.
All right, full circle.
We planned that.
Here's another text. You know what I want? I want to get a little drunk with you tonight. First of all, get a little drunk with you tonight. You don't have to specify the level of intoxication you want to get. I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you're sending sexts, and, you know, one look at me, you would know that I don't send sex on a regular basis. But if I'm just trying to play the role of the female, if I get a sext,
Yeah.
and it says, you know what I want? And then in my mind, I'd be like, no, do tell. So far, so good.
Okay.
I want to get a little drunk with you tonight. Now that there's in the scheme of sexcapades, in the scheme of, this is like borderline cheating.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Erring on the side of responsibility with your intoxication when you're cheating, I feel like just commit. Just go all the way.
Mm.
Okay, so it says, let me continue. Not falling down, just a little drunk. I want to talk to you and plan with you, listen and laugh.
Oh my.
And then I basically, and this is all caps, want to be with you. 3 exclamation points. Then I want to fall asleep with you and wake up tomorrow and read the paper with you and have coffee with you.
No.
Now I have a lot of questions. Amazon, everybody uses it. They're known for, how did they start to get their notoriety? Selling books.
Right.
Then they have a product called a fucking Kindle. So, Jeff, maybe you might want to think about a little product placement there. You know, you want to wake up tomorrow and read the Kindle White with her, you know, might as well have coffee. Now, mind you, when I'm 55, if I'm ever sexting anybody, maybe this is the mood. Maybe this sets the mood for people that are 55 and sexting.
Mm.
But as a near 30-year-old, as a newly 28-year-old,
Mhm.
does this fly? I don't think it does.
No.
So Jeff, you know, listen, I get if a relationship goes dry.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think it is that's about these like super rich dudes that inevitably feel like everybody ends up having an extramarital affair?
Mm-hmm.
Like marriage doesn't almost seem to be something they consider like as holy or as serious as an average Joe might.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you have any thoughts on what makes really, 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 really rich dudes cheat every single time?
I don't know if it has anything to do with, I mean, as you gain financial power, you start to feel entitled to things. And so I don't know if that just spreads into their personal lives, but for some reason it just, probably because it's just all over the tabloids, we have that perception that it happens all the time. I often think of celebrities, so I'm thinking like Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. I don't know if that's quite apples to apples.
Did Ben cheat?
I believe Ben did.
Oh, you tool.
I think that's why they separated.
Oh, really? God
Yeah.
damn it.
Or
Okay.
they could, oh no, actually, Brad Pitt and Angelina, didn't they?
Yeah, I think that was a result. Like Brad was still with Jennifer. Aniston.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I don't get, but I don't, yeah, I don't really have a specific theory. I just think that I mean, you would think with all the money in the world that they would at least find happiness once they find that significant other, but who knows? Like, we don't know what they are behind the scenes, you know, like the dark secrets that they have even before they got to where they were.
Yeah, that's true. And it seems to be solely a guy thing. I don't.
Yeah.
It's more rare to hear that the lady cheated. You hear that sometimes,
Sure.
but you don't hear that as often as like it's because the guy did something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so weird. There's this like a double standard, I guess, where it's like if the girl cheats on the guy in this Hollywood world, then it's seeming like, oh, the girl's like a slut, what a hoe bag, whatever. And then if the guy cheats on the girl, the narrative from what I can tell is just appears to be like, yeah, he's a tool or a slob or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then it goes away faster. And if it's like maybe an affair that we want to see based off of whatever work that they're in, then like we almost like let it go. You know, we're just like whatever. Like imagine if I don't ever wish this to happen. I don't want this to happen. But imagine if Kit Harington and Emilia Clarke had an affair.
Oh,
Now Kit Harington's married to
Rose.
is her
Rose
name
Leslie or something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
So based on the show, spoiler alert, but you know, the show's coming back in 3 months. So let's say that those two are like very prominent characters in the TV show. Now,
Sure.
they're also probably the top two like best looking,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so like if that happened, you know, is there a part of you that's like, damn, what a douchebag. But like at the same time, it's hard, you're blending the characters in with the real life and you're like playing this fantasy, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's a little tricky. I think it's also similar, not just in Hollywood, but across like athletics or sports.
Okay.
I think Jalen Rose says it a lot where he's like, you have to have a section for the wives and a section for the girlfriends, which is just like, that still blows my mind.
It's
like,
fascinating.
I don't know about you. I have a hard time even getting one girl to talk to me. Trying to juggle multiple girls at the same time seems like an impossible feat in my mind. Like I have such a hard time comprehending
Right.
that sort of deal.
Break it down for me how it happens with athletes. I think we chatted about this in Dallas, right? About how they're able to have these hookups and affairs.
Basically every city there's a girl.
Yeah.
From what Jalen Rose says.
Wow.
Obviously, I'm not a professional athlete, so this is not a first-hand account. I wish it was. So every city has basically they go to a place. Jalen said that a lot of times if you go to like if anybody follows athletes on Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter, and the video is, hey, looks like I just landed in Milwaukee. What's good? Give me some recos. That is sort of pretty much an open invitation for like, what's up, ladies? I'm in your city. You want to smash?
Wow.
You know? And I'm just like, oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just part of the thing. And then they sort of organize who sits where in home games. And
Right.
I don't know, man. It's just a crazy world.
I had a friend of a friend who was a nanny for an NBA star,
Ooh.
who I will not name.
Okay.
But she essentially says that for him and his teammates, a lot of the stuff that happens behind the scenes that we're not aware of, there's almost like agreements where said NBA player and his wife know that there's business going on outside of their bedroom and their house.
Mm-hmm.
They're fully aware of it, but it's just kind of accepting the fact that that's just the lifestyle.
Is it both sides though? Like, is it like the athlete when he's traveling is also like, you know, I guess sleeping around, but then, you know, the girl also has the freedom to be like, all right, like while I'm gone, like if you find somebody you like, go for it kind of thing.
I would think so, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was just a one-sided thing too, because girls would like just that having that status, I think means a lot to them.
Yeah, I think you're right about the whole, a lot of the people who are getting to a point of notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it happens before they're 21. God forbid if I ever became famous when I was 20, I would probably be so dead right now. I think when you live in a world where from your formative years, you're told you're good, you're this, you're better than everybody. At a certain point to get to the top, to be a professional athlete, you really have to have the utmost confidence in yourself. I think for those who experience success later in life, the confidence isn't necessarily I'm the best. The confidence is I am capable.
Mm.
And when you get really good really fast, it's like I'm just a fucking natural. I'm a genetic freak. I hit the lottery. Everything I touch turns into gold.
Mm-hmm.
All this and that, and then maybe from there, it's just hard to remove yourself from that mindset of like, fuck it. Like, why wouldn't I be able to do this? Why shouldn't I? I don't live by these people's standards. I'm above the standards, so I'm also not going to apply those same standards to me, which I think is it. I guess. It always like fascinates me how it's usually a lot of like high profile athletes, celebrities. I think when you like, I don't know if there's like a equivalent to like a Mendoza line where you just like, you draw a line. If this person makes X number of dollars in a year or gets X number of like fame, then from there, it's just like, yeah, you're going to cheat. And I also think,
That's like How I Met Your Mother, the little,
yeah,
the hot versus
like hot
crazy.
crazy scale.
Yeah.
I believe in that. I think that if you experience success early, I think it's also more likely versus those who you experience success a little bit later. Like you're not seeing like Steve Carell walking around, and he started kind of, his success didn't take off until he was a little later in age.
Sure.
Same with, I mean, who knows? Maybe he is sleeping around. I don't know.
Well, hey, Crazy Stupid Love.
Silver Fox. He is.
He's kind of, that's what he does actually.
He's a silver fox.
The premise of it.
Yeah. So maybe that's that. Maybe it's just a lot of people who achieve crazy levels of success are usually just very driven to get out of this, the situation that they're in growing up. And a lot of times it's less than favorable. And so maybe they're just like, fuck it. Like I'm taking full advantage of this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? But Jeff, happy birthday. I mean, who the fuck, like this guy has to never worry about money ever in his life, ever. No second in any day is he like, no, fuck it, I need to worry about money. So
Does he have kids?
I don't know. I think he might, but
Oh, he has 4 kids.
I don't think it fucking, he can have 100 kids. I don't think it fucking matters. I think he said he made like billions of dollars last year. So it's like, whatever, man.
Jeez.
Like, I'm pretty sure he just goes around, does whatever he wants, and then pays for it, and keep getting those checks. Though, Jeff, you're a tool, you're a scumbag, but you're also very rich. You got to work on your sexting skills, buddy. Hit me up for that if you want. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I am better than what you've been sending.
It's not hard.
Yeah. Moving along. We're going to talk a little bit, spend some time with the Lakers here. They got murdered last night. Me and Raph are diehard Laker fans.
Damn.
23-20, sitting 8th in the West. They're 4-6 in the last 10 games. Would have been your early season, it's almost halfway point, would have been your early season thoughts about the Lakers?
I think they're at the baseline from what I thought they would be at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until the last 7 games where honestly they were overperforming in my book because they've built at least some sense of continuity with the disjointed batch of players that they've had.
Yeah.
So they're able to each identify their own role. I think Luke's done a pretty good job of managing both minutes and just game plan on how to handle games. The free throws are a massive issue, my friend.
We're the worst, right? Worst free throw shooting team.
Worst free throw shooting team. Which,
And it's like, it's not like we have like 15 centers. It's like Brandon Ingram, Lonzo. What the fuck are you guys doing?
I don't recall like guards shooting that poorly. I mean, at least in the 20 years I've been watching the NBA.
Yeah, and look, even like Josh Hart's like 70-something%, right?
Right.
That's bad, but it's not a detriment to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo and Brandon got two guys who probably touch the ball and hold on to it the most.
Right.
So for them to use up all that time, have that kind of a usage rate, and then not capitalize with points, that kills us, bro.
Yeah. Right.
That's a killer. I mean, our best free throw shooter is KCP, and he touches the ball like, I don't know, like X%, like a minimal percentage compared to the other guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Kuzma's okay. I don't know, man.
Do you remember the days when, I mean, it was like Kobe on average would be about 86, 87%.
Yeah.
D-Fish 80, 81%, but you knew that the guards would at least give you 75%. But these guys are shooting 46, 55, 60% respectively.
It has to be mental.
It has to be, right?
It has to be mental.
Yeah.
Well, especially for Ingram. Like, maybe you can blame mechanics for Lonzo, but
Yeah.
who is untouchable on the team? Besides LeBron, like, we'll take LeBron out, obviously.
Yeah.
But who is untouchable to you, if you were the GM, who is considered untouchable on the Lakers?
You know, Stephen A had this recent take, and it's hit or miss for me with a lot of his analysis, but I'm actually on board. I think the untouchables of the core would be Kuz and Hart. And I say that because Brandon, in spots over the last couple seasons, has talked about how he wants to be at that elite level. And I think he can certainly get there. But I think when you have LeBron and Ingram on the same court, it's just, I think there's a clash because of their natural position.
Yeah.
And Lonzo, there's all the intangibles that he brings, including his defense and his ability to read the floor. I think if you have a serviceable point guard, like still like a Mike Conley tier or above, I think that paired with a second free agent would get them over the hump, honestly, towards at least the championship round, because I think it's going to take a little while for him to develop. And especially with LeBron at the helm, I don't think those two are critical for us to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll agree that Kuz and Josh seem to play the best around LeBron.
Sure.
Ingram is he still needs a few years, and I think for him specifically on a like a career look, these years are very vital for him. In order for him to get to that elite level, he's going to have to make his mistakes. And right now, he just doesn't have enough time. He's not getting enough playing time. He needs to be on a really, it's kind of like, how did Durant get so good? Durant's always had the skill, but when he was in those Seattle days before Westbrook, and even when Westbrook first came into the league, it's just like Durant, you get 30 shots every game. You're playing 40 minutes a game. Make your mistakes. I don't care if you go 0 for 30. You're gonna get those shots. Blah blah blah. And then you work into your groove. You find out how you work. It just doesn't happen like that with Ingram. Ingram is the type of guy that I see who needs the ball in his hands. Who needs to at least start the action of the play. If he gets the ball later, that's one thing. But he's sort of a de facto point guard in the sense that he has to start to play.
Yeah.
Lonzo seems like how he runs. Like he just it doesn't feel like there's any sense of urgency for him.
Right.
Which is also good in like high pressure situations because he's just so mellow that I think nothing gets to him, but also nothing gets to him where like Luke's like, listen, like you gotta pick it up. He's just like, all right, it'll happen. And you're just like, no, dude, like fucking, I know what kind of defense he can play. I know the type of playmaking he can have.
Yeah.
I know the type of passing he provides. It's just like it comes and goes. Like I feel like he has to get scored on a few times and then he gets upset and then he plays better. And then after a while, he's like, I can dominate this guy. It's whatever. And then he gets scored on again. And then he's like, all right, fine, you got it. And then he waits to get like 6 points dropped on him before he's like, oh shit, I got to do something about it again.
Right. Right.
Versus somebody like Josh Hart, who's just always playing as hard as he can. Kuz, similar. With Kuz, I think he's still a couple years away. I think he'll really hit his stride. Wait, he's like, what, 21, 20?
Yeah, I think he's like 20.
I think he'll hit his stride when he's like 25. Still very young, but he'll have many years under the league. Right now, he has a few moves, but it's... If everybody refers to their moves as let me get in the bag, right? His bag is like a fanny pack right now. He just has a couple moves in there.
Sure.
A lot of people like LeBron, they have a duffel bag full of moves. So to get to that point, he just has to work every year. So yeah, I think Kuz and Hart would be the ones that I would be surprised if they got traded.
Sure.
Off the record, off the pod, I said I felt like Anthony Davis was going to get traded a few months ago. I think he's still going to get, for a hot take, I would say he gets traded sometime this year.
Ooh.
Hopefully, to the Lakers, I would assume.
Okay.
But that would just be my guess.
What about Boston?
I think Boston would be a candidate, but to make the salaries work, you have to trade a Gordon Hayward or a Kyrie. And you can't trade Kyrie. He has some clause in his contract or some shit. Where like if you trade him, then the cap or something like it balloons or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hayward is just not going to be enough for New Orleans to say anything. Everybody else, all the young talent, I think a majority of them are on their rookie deal. So then you would have to give up way too much if you're Boston.
I see.
To match salary. So I don't. If you're New Orleans, you ask for what? Give me
Tatum.
Who else do you want on that squad?
Jeez.
Like Jaylen Brown,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
From there, you would want a couple of their key draft picks. They have Sacramento's draft pick this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a few future firsts.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Ainge isn't going to give that up. And you would probably want a center in return. Give me Horford. Give me Terry Rozier. The asking price starts to get so high.
Yeah.
You would have to take on so many players, and then you would have to cut some players on your current roster. So I think it's just too complicated. I think with the Lakers, at least, it'll just be like, I'll give you a few first-round picks. I'll give you Ingram, Lonzo, KCP, maybe work a 3-team deal with somebody else that lends you another player.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you can go. So then now you have sort of a wider array of better talent than what Boston can provide.
Yeah.
And then the salaries obviously match a little bit better. So,
one thing that's crossed my mind is, do you remember when the Kobe Dwight saga happened?
Mm-hmm.
And how Dwight was a free agent? And honestly, I think the big reason why I didn't sign is because of obviously Kobe and his him being the captain of the team.
Yeah.
And not seeing the end of the light or end of the tunnel as to when he would be the alpha dog, among other reasons why, right? I feel like AD and LeBron would work because he would know that at the 2 or 3 years once LeBron wraps that he knows it's his team.
Yeah.
I that's just a random take, but I just have the sense that there's a really good chance the Lakers will retain him if they trade for Anthony.
Yeah, this is. We had this many pods ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had a theory, which partly came true. LeBron goes to the Lakers.
Yeah.
But it's also so that he plays with his son for a year.
Right.
Now, ideally, you would want to pick a star currently who's in their mid to late 20s. So right now is LeBron's team. When LeBron retires, it'll be player X's team. By the time LeBron wouldn't retire at this point, but by the time LeBron gets to the point where LeBron James Jr. is in the league, he would be at a point where he's about to retire. The second star is going to be in their early mid 30s.
Right.
Then as LeBron James Jr. comes along, and in a few years when the second star retires, then it becomes Bronny's team. This is like LeBron you will never convince me that LeBron is not thinking about this stuff.
No, there have been a couple interviews with him since that pod that you
Yeah.
were talking about, and he's confirmed that. He hasn't said, "Oh, it's going to happen," but he's like, "How great would that be? Of course, I would want to do that."
Yeah, LeBron is somebody who has been setting marks in his career and always been able to achieve them. He's a very smart man, and he's very savvy because he has an agency that he split with his friend and somehow has not gotten in trouble yet. But I think that's the plan. So what he does, and I think what a lot of successful people do is like, okay, what's the end goal? I want to play with my son. Okay, now let's work backwards. How would that help? And I think another goal is I don't think he would want to like put Bronny through what he's been through in his Cleveland days, playing with Drew Gooden, Larry Hughes, David Wesley, Zajunas Ilgauskas, Danielle Marshall, Boobie Gibson, fucking Delonte West. Like he's, you're playing with all these Wally Zerbiak, I think, for a year. I don't know.
Oh, true.
I think LeBron wants to set Bronny up to be like, this is your team. And not only is it your team, it's tailor-made for you. So I think he would want to have the team kind of created with these other guys. Now I've seen, Bronny highlights right now. He's obviously a playmaker, just like his dad. He's not going to do the same things LeBron does. I think growing up, LeBron was influenced by certain players. Bronny now, when he's growing up, he's obviously influenced by probably the Steph, a lot of Steph, KD, LeBron, Westbrook. There's all these guys. So he's going to be a playmaking point guard, is my assumption.
He won't be as tall as him, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think the height also comes from the mom side of the family. So, I mean, I don't know how tall the mom side of the family is, but he's already 6'3".
Right.
So maybe he can be as tall, but I would predict maybe 6'6", 6'7".
Sure.
Still pretty tall for a guard. I don't think he's going to be as buff as his dad.
No, for sure.
I think he's going to be a skinnier guard. So a playmaking guard, 6'7", savvy guy. He's going to need some shooters, some big men. It just makes sense. Anthony Davis fits this puzzle piece.
Whew.
He's a very large puzzle piece.
Yes.
Now, on Anthony Davis' side, he can come in, this lineage of centers. He carries that torch. He's going to be able to don the purple and gold. He's going to see all the statues. He's going to see all the rings. He's going to see all the banners. He wants legacy over everything. Here's your fucking legacy. Get to live in LA. I mean, whatever he wants to do, he gets to do it. So
when does he raise his hand and say, "I want to trade"?
I don't think he ever will.
Okay. I
don't think he'll ever do that, at least publicly, because I think he's too much of a. He also thinks very much in the future and be like, I don't want to be pegged as a guy who like demands these things. It's just like I'm gonna try my hardest, maybe behind the scenes, but I don't think he's gonna be that guy.
Gotcha.
State of the NBA so far, first half. Who are some players that stand out to you? Who have been some surprises, disappointments? Players, teams, coaches, whatever. Like, what has been your early thoughts?
Denver's emergence has been insane, and Isaiah Thomas was never really going to be a big factor, nor their draft pick, Otto Porter.
Yeah,
but just the fact that they've been able to
Michael Porter,
yeah, right. Otto Porter, yeah, Michael Porter. They've been able to have a really stingy defense and just kind of maintain that level throughout the early part of the season.
Yeah,
and then there was a take by many analysts that Murray was going to have a big year.
I fucking hate that guy.
Really, literally. As a Laker fan, you gotta hate that guy. But
Kyrie hates him too, so I'm team Kyrie.
Nice. Yeah. So I think his play, could easily has him as a candidate for most improved player.
Okay.
I'm obviously not surprised that some teams that have fallen off the wayside, obviously Phoenix and Cleveland at the bottom of both conferences. How tight the West is. We had a sense of how tight it is, but it's crazy. Just literally 2 games separate the 3rd to 8th seed.
Yeah.
And I think that trend is still going to continue. The Lakers being 8th only have like a game up on Utah. So it's pretty much what I thought the season would be. Giannis being a top MVP candidate reminds me of when Kobe called him out, and I think he's playing to it.
Yeah.
Boston's struggles are a little surprising, but I think they'll figure out something towards the middle end of the year.
Okay.
But outside of that, it's just been too fun to watch. Every single game, you gotta tune in.
Yeah, I think the state of the NBA has been very good.
Okay.
I think, as far as it, like you were saying, Denver has been exciting to watch. Sacramento has been exciting to watch.
Yeah.
I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I did want De'Aaron Fox over Lonzo when it was the draft, and with the Lakers. I'm like, in my mind, I thought, okay, look, if you're the Lakers, maybe you can trade back a little bit. Now, De'Aaron, I think, was like the 5th pick or something, so I don't know if we would have gotten him if we traded back, but I was more thinking, like, Lonzo's great, but he's got a funky-ass shot, and we got to play. It was a culture thing that I was really looking for, and De'Aaron, during the March Madness, he was very much like, had the same mindset as Colin Sexton does, where he's just like, I'm going to fucking come after you, and you can try to stop me, but you can push me down. Like, it's very Westbrook-like, where he's just like, I'm just going to keep coming.
De'Aaron's also, like, really...
Fast.
He's fast.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He's fast, but he's just a smart cat.
Yeah.
Like, he's very articulate, and just in interviews, that he knows the game of basketball.
And it just sucks because he's on a team whose owner and GM just not smart.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. But I think the resurgence of a few bad teams, the improvement of the middle teams, there's been some downside, or I guess some disappointments with the perennial teams. It's been an up and down season for sure. I think in the second half you're kind of going to see that level itself out. We've already seen it. I mean, Memphis and the Clippers started out as the top 2 seeds, and they're falling off.
Oh, right, that's right.
I think it's the same with Denver. I think Denver will not hold the 1 seed heading into the playoffs. I think the Warriors, especially with Boogie coming back so soon, I think the Warriors will take that number 1 spot. I don't know if Houston will get to number 2, but they'll definitely be holding home court for at least the first round. The Lakers with LeBron, they'll be fine, guys.
You feel good about that?
They'll be fine.
Okay.
With LeBron on the team, they're top 4 seed. Now, if LeBron continues to get these aching injuries, I will have nightmares of Steve Nash all over again.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the fucking wood? I don't know where it is, but I think if LeBron stays healthy, we'll be fine. Top 4, easy. Probably only at number 4.
Okay.
But in the East, I think the East has been surprisingly more competitive than I thought it was. I figured, now Kawhi is obviously in Toronto. He's getting back to 100%, it looks like. He's amazing. That whole team in Toronto is really good. Boston's been up and down, but they're going to pick up steam, I'm pretty sure.
Agree.
Philly is Philly. They're always a wild card.
How about them Brooklyn Nets?
They're feisty. They're fun to watch. They're definitely they're the most fun New York team.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the Knicks, man, whew.
Garbage.
Yeah, and Porzingis is like, his recovery's real slow. I hope he comes back to where he was. Miami's feisty. Orlando has intriguing players. I think they're going to lose Aaron Gordon this year. Milwaukee. I was doing some digging around yesterday on Basketball Reference, and Giannis, for as good as he is, the only slight against him in the MVP conversation is on jumpers, just jump shots alone. He shoots 20-something%
Oh, wow.
from 2 and like 16% from 3.
I didn't know it was that low.
That's like Ben Simmons status. That's the only knock against him. And if James Harden keeps this up, I think he's just going to be MVP again. Wesley's getting a triple-double again. That's fucking crazy.
That's nuts.
So I don't know. I mean, right now, Giannis, it's everybody's MVP darling. But as the season goes on, is he going to be able to maintain this? Probably. But there's always a chance he may not. And I think for him, the fall is going to matter more to his MVP potential than as like these other players are. LeBron James is hurt, like God forbid, what if he comes back, goes on a fucking tear? Then there goes his chances. So
Yeah.
it depends.
One thing for you.
Yeah.
Will Atlanta forever regret the trade draft night?
Trae Young for Luka?
You clearly called out Luka ahead of everyone.
I said Luka should be number one.
Yeah.
Luka, I mean, even DeAndre Ayton, for whatever he may become, I don't care. Luka and Devin Booker would have been an insane tandem. Luka and Devin Booker
Oh my gosh.
are what we're going to wish was, because Luka and Dennis Smith Jr. are not necessarily the same.
Sure.
Dennis Smith Jr. works better with the ball in his hands. If Luka was a spot up shooter, then that would be one thing. But they're both guys who need the ball.
Yeah.
Luka is going to be that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Denver is never going to get rid of, or Dallas is never going to.
No.
Mark Cuban's going to be like, listen, look, however we treated Dirk is we're going to treat you.
It was kind of the perfect transition if you think about it.
Yeah,
too.
European to European. You know. Luka's amazing. I think I can understand why Atlanta did it.
Okay.
Atlanta did it,
Culture.
in my opinion, for the culture.
Yeah.
Trae Young, everybody's, it's flashy, bring the kids in. I think Trae Young's style of play attracts younger audiences better than Luka does. I think once I heard Trae Young's name being dropped on a Migos song, I was like, it's a wrap. It was over. He was being name dropped in every big Atlanta rapper's songs. I think I heard his name being dropped by the Migos, but I think by 2 Chainz, and after that it was over. It's a wrap. I think it's more of a cultural thing. They want to set the culture of fun, winning, blah blah blah. They have a few good talents. They have Bazemore's pretty good. John, I think they have. Is his name John Collins? They have another guy. He's really good. I mean, Jeremy Lin's there for the veteran presence. Vince Carter's there. Like they're fun losers, which is where you want to be until you become a winner.
Sure.
But yeah, they fucked up.
They totally did.
Luka is so good, so amazing.
Stud.
He's really good. He just knows what to do.
He's gonna make the All-Star team, right?
He's okay. So vote wise, no, he's not going to be a starter. There's no way.
Okay.
If he was Chinese, maybe, because they got a fucking shit ton of people. Or Indian. If he was Indian, yeah, he's just shoo-in. But
sure,
from play, he identifies as a forward.
Okay.
And in the West, you have 3 forward spots, because it's not really a center anymore, right?
Right.
So you have 3 forward spots in the West as a starter, and then you would assume probably 6 more as backup. So he's not going to be a starter. So 6 forwards in the West. So it'd be 9 total, including centers. Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant. Who else is in the West? LeBron,
yeah.
LaMarcus Aldridge. That's 4. Who else would be on there? Jokic. That's 5. We need 4 more, maybe. I'm trying to think here.
Anyone on the Thunder? No.
Paul George.
Yeah.
He's an MVP candidate. Damn.
Right. He might be a fringe guy, kind of like how Ben Simmons was last year, where he might have an outside chance, but that's barring injury. I don't know
maybe I don't know if
he'll
be most improved, but he's a chance.
Yeah.
So Paul George, I'm just going down the catalog of
AD. Did you
West,
have him?
yeah, West teams.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Cat?
even Cat would be a consideration, as much as I don't really like him this year.
Right.
Who else is on the West? Shit. I mean, Nurkic. He's got an outside chance. He's on the outside. I think he's on the bubble looking in.
Sure.
For now.
Sure.
But he is nice.
He's so nice.
All right. So based on what you've seen so far, based on what you know about basketball, your experiences in the past, this is a fun little thing. We're gonna try to be clairvoyant here.
Okay.
And we have no inside scoops. What happened?
No.
Oh, we have no inside scoops. We have no knowledge of what any player in the NBA is doing. Although I wish.
Yes.
Hot takes. Give me some hot takes, either for the rest of the year, the offseason, players, coaches, whatever. Give me some takes that you would think.
Mm.
I'll start off.
Yeah, lead us off.
The Warriors will not win the chip this year.
Ah.
They will not win the chip.
Okay.
I think KD's gone. I think
Where? New York?
I don't know. I mean, everyone's saying New York, but I don't think KD is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I think KD is gone.
Okay.
I think that Clay will stay. Draymond will stay. Steph will stay. But I think KD's gone this year.
Wow.
I think the Warriors window is closing or will close. I also think Houston will not win the chip this year. I'm not suggesting any team. I genuinely don't know who's going to win, but I don't think Houston's going to win. I think that environment in Houston is similar to how I see the like 09 to 12 Clippers, where they're like, look, we're on to something. We have something special. They make a run. They try their best. They're so close. But now it's sort of like, look, there's clearly some preferential treatment to the star players. The role players are going to feel some type of way, and they're going to get out, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, these are very hot takes, but those are just a couple things that I have in mind. I think as fun as it is to watch James Harden be a part of that, I don't know if it's sustainable, A, for 82 games, B, in addition to that, playoffs. Especially with Chris Paul in and out of the lineup, you're relying on guys like Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, Austin Rivers. Like, I don't know if that excites you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think those two teams will win the chip this year. I think over the next couple of years, you're gonna see Boston lose a lot of their young guys. I don't think Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, or Jaylen Brown are gonna stick around for long. They're having the opposite problem of just too much. They accumulate too much talent, and some of the players obviously are better than what their role is currently, and I think they're gonna go. I think Gordon probably would stay. I think he'll make a comeback. But yeah, I don't think that. I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna go.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going right now to say that the 1-2 matchup in the East is going to be the Eastern Conference Final, which isn't a huge take. But I think the Bucks are going to get to the finals.
Oh,
yeah,
I like that.
Been watching a few Bucks games, and they're top 5 in offense and defense efficiency. The only team right now in the league, and they just have such a balanced, well-rounded attack. You know, the Brook Lopez signing was probably one of the most underrated moves that was done, I think.
Yeah.
In the offseason.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're able to get a lot of floor spacing, the fact that Giannis is playing out of his mind, and the role players seem to like know exactly what to do. Bledsoe and who before was an anomaly is kind of coming into his own. I feel like they're gonna put the pieces together and we take it all. So you mentioned earlier about Golden State and Houston not making that full run.
Yeah.
And a lot of what you said, I think, influences that opinion too, because I feel the same way. And the teams that are 4 through 8, I don't think have a Cinderella run in them. If you think about, I mean, with the exception of LeBron, I mean, I think they could make it to the conference finals, but I still think that the Lakers are just too young to get over that hump right now.
Yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Golden State are the favorites.
Agreed. 100%.
Hands down.
100%.
They're the favorites.
Yeah.
But in this hot take world, I'm going to say that they just don't make it.
I think so too. Remember the Lakers and the Pistons? You know, it was Kobe admitted in his Kobe Shaq interview that it was on him, the reason why they lost the championship. But Detroit found a way, and I feel like Milwaukee could beat Detroit, and that Golden State is overpowering, but they found out a way to do it.
Yeah, I'm just a little nervous that all of this pretty much lands on how Draymond Green reacts
That's
to
a good point.
things.
Yeah.
They're just going to agitate the shit out of him this whole playoff series, no matter who they play, in my opinion. And one Draymond Green suspension, or even if he doesn't get suspended, if he goes off on KD again or Clay or Steph again and becomes this like friction in the locker room, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's just keep going with hot takes. Giannis is not going to be a Buck for his whole career.
Okay.
Anthony Davis clearly is not going to be a Pelican.
Agreed.
I think
Jimmy B.
Jimmy. Now, I think if Jimmy stays in Philly, Ben Simmons is not a Sixer.
Huh.
I think Jimmy and Ben Simmons.
There's that much friction.
I don't think it's friction, but just from a playing style, they're not complementary. They both play well with Embiid, and I think that speaks to Embiid's talent.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Jimmy and Ben play well. The reason I don't think that is neither of them are particularly good shooters.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and Jimmy, and they both need the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say Ben leaves. Where does he go? Ugh, I don't know. I don't know. I think he has to go somewhere with shooters.
Lakers. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I guess, but he needs to also shoot too.
Yeah.
I think now. What I also think is, let's say, upcoming draft class.
Mm.
I right now so far, RJ Barrett has the best potential, with Zion carrying the most excitement. I think the Duke's third player, Cam Reddish, I think he's the most NBA ready in the sense that with the hype and the expectations from Zion and RJ are to be superstars from the jump. Because of that, I think everybody is downplaying Cam's abilities. And so whatever team drafts him will primarily just be like, look, you start off as a 3-and-D guy or whatever. And I think he's going to excel in that role. So I think he'll fit in and mesh with the NBA team that drafts him more quickly than RJ and Zion.
What's Cam's projection? Do you know?
Top 5.
Top 5 too?
Yeah.
Damn.
You have RJ, Zion, Cam. Who's coming in? I don't fucking know. Those are the only 3 that really stand out.
Right.
Yeah, because Cam on his own would have been, the top prospect for any school to get. So not only did Duke get him, they got fucking the Canadian James Harden and RJ Barrett, and they got like the Black Hulk pretty much, Zion.
Crazy.
I'm gonna be so pissed if Cleveland gets the number 1 pick again. Fucking Dan Gilbert. I swear to God. Like, I feel like if a team shows that you can't draft and nail the number 1 pick many times over,
right,
you just should be banned from getting number 1 pick. Oh, I read an interesting article. Side note. Going on this. Cleveland had signed Patrick McCaw. Then they cut him subsequently.
Right.
Now he's on... What team is he on now? Anyway.
Yeah.
Patrick McCaw was on the Warriors last year. There's a way you can become a unrestricted free agent even if you're a restricted free agent, which is sort of just to hold out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did. Then once that holdout period ended and became unrestricted, the Cavs signed him almost immediately. The Warriors wrote a request or whatever into the league to look into that, to see if Cleveland had come in contact with Patrick McCaw before they were allowed to even offer him a contract. If the league proves that if the league finds that they did, the Cavs can potentially lose their first round pick.
Whoa.
Now, as shitty as they are, that pick might be number 1.
Right.
In the ultimate form of karma, they would be number 1. Then the law would come down. They would lose it. And then there goes Zion. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Which I would hope would happen just for my own internal justice sort of motive. So with that being said, if they get number 1, I'm going to be so upset. Because they're going to draft Zion. And then Zion has to go through what LeBron does. And everyone in Cleveland is going to put this LeBron expectation on Zion, which he's not going to be able to. He's not the same player.
No way.
And yet they're going to expect him to be LeBron. Then he's going to have all this stuff. I just think it's not the best environment for Zion to go to.
Yeah.
So, God damn it, Dan Gilbert. Why do you have to be such a tool? Jesus.
Don't know why.
You have any hot takes? Any other takes?
Let's see.
I do like the Bucks winning the chip. I think they're a dark horse that can win it all.
Mm-hmm.
I think Toronto can do it.
Mm-hmm.
If not them, out of the West, outside of the favorites, it'd probably just be the Lakers. I'm not even saying that as a fan, but I can't picture Denver winning it all this year. I can't picture OKC winning it all. I mean, maybe, but even OKC up against Milwaukee or Toronto, I don't like their chances.
Mm-hmm.
If Toronto goes to conference finals or finals, I think Kawhi stays.
That's what it's going to take.
Yeah. They have to get real close. Anything else, a second round, first round upset, he's coming to the Clippers.
You know that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The take that I had last year was that if PG was out first or second round, especially first round, that he would come to the Lakers. But the bond that he built was apparently that strong enough that
Bill Simmons has a conspiracy theory that Adam Silver was just like, look, Paul George, I know you want to come to LA, but all this talk about you always, he was talking about coming to LA while he was still under contract with the Pacers. LeBron's coming to LA. It's going to be a fucking shit show. You better fucking stay in Oklahoma City or else I'm coming down with the law on you. That's Bill Simmons' sort of like
interesting
conspiracy theory.
I can see that.
And yeah, it sort of makes sense. Like, why would you go back to the team that has a ball dominant point guard and you guys lost the way you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, Paul George is playing like a man on fire.
Jeez,
he is so good.
It sucks. Hate it, dude.
It's so good. Yeah.
I'm gonna say hot take. Dirk and Vince retire.
Ooh.
I had to say both of them do.
I don't think Vince retires.
Oh, you think he's still gonna play it out?
I think he plays one more year in either. Well, he can't do that. I think he's gonna he's just gonna play his last hurrah in Toronto.
Gotcha. Oh, that would be nice.
Bringing it home.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. I think Dirk might retire.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he walks like he can't bend his legs. You know what I mean? Like he looks like he has 2 leg casts on when he runs.
For sure.
So yeah.
I think Luke loses his job.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This year?
I think after the season he's gonna lose his job. I think he's gonna play it out.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm actually a big Luke fan, and I feel like I'm kind of getting into the minority because you obviously have very passionate Laker fans that will critique every single move he does.
Yeah.
I think that he's still a young coach, so he's definitely still learning on the fly. But he's had the situation he was given, just like a couple years ago to where he is now. I think he's done all the right things.
Yeah.
There's been obviously some mistakes that he acknowledges, but I think overall he's a smart coach that I think can implement a good system. Ever since Tyson joined, they have the top 10 defense in the league, which is something that he brought about last year when he was preaching on D. But I think it's going to catch up to him where either, it's a mixture of the fans and the media and all the speculation of as to maybe a simple dumb move he does late in the season or in the playoffs. And they cut him and then find someone who LeBron has full sign off on.
Man.
What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that road.
I hate to say it, but I think
I can see that road. But I mean, if LeBron was coached by Ty Lue for a few years, I feel like Luke is an upgrade.
Massive upgrade, man. Ty Lue had no really credentials.
If no Lakers get traded, I see Luke's chances of getting fired higher. If Lonzo Ingram get traded for a star and in the offseason they sign another star, I see him staying.
Okay.
I'm not buying into all this rumor about KD going to LA.
Same.
In the back of my mind, I'm wishing it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Because in simple terms, he's going to add to LeBron's chip count. So
I don't think he's competing with LeBron, though.
Okay.
He doesn't strike me as the guy who's like, I'm looking for LeBron. I think for him, the reason he moved to Golden State was, how can I make myself the most effective and best player that I can be? And from a basketball standpoint, from a business standpoint, how can I grow my brand? And I think Silicon Valley and the Warriors sort of presented the best of both worlds.
I see.
So the angle for the Lakers would be literally at any given year, the top 2 players in the league will be joining forces. You're in LA. some would argue, depending on what kind of business you're going into, is a lot better market than San Francisco.
Right.
You're going to stay on the West Coast. You still stay with the weather and all that stuff. The way he would go to New York is everything through his agent. Everything in the Knicks ties to his agent, which I can see.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where else he would go. I would assume it's a major market. I don't think he's going to, quote unquote, chase rings.
Mm-hmm.
I think he stayed in Oklahoma City, or when he got drafted by Seattle and then into Oklahoma City, and he signed the extension and he just announced it on Twitter, and everyone's like, he's such a humble guy, blah, blah, blah. I think what he thought was, this is the beginning of something special. Where they fucked up was trading James Harden, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Traded one of his closest friends and a perennial 6th man of the year candidate kind of thing.
Right.
Would James Harden be James Harden now? I don't think so. But that was the best window. If they made it to the finals, like, how about trying a few more times? Like, who knew? Who knows what you would have done?
Totally.
Anyway, so with that, I think he lost trust in OKC management.
Mm-hmm.
So then his next question was, I think I'm just playing in his mind. I feel like KD was like, man, like, I'm doing so much for so little. I need to tip the scales a little bit more where I'm not doing as much and getting more in return.
Mm-hmm.
Hence Golden State. Dang. Then I think now he's like, okay, I won my chips. I won my MVPs. I've proven to myself and the league that I'm fucking dangerous, that people fucking need me to win.
Mm-hmm.
It was Kevin Durant's shot in game 3 that kind of swung the momentum officially Golden State's way. Kevin Durant, anytime you need a bucket, you give him the ball and get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
You can't necessarily say that with Steph. Steph still needs a screen. Steph still needs ball movement to a degree more so than Kevin Durant, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now Kevin Durant goes, okay, I won my rings, won my MVPs. I've done all these things in my life. Now it's something that I need to do in the long run. What's in it for me in the long run? And I think that's how he sees it. So the New York angle, sure, I can see that.
Honestly, I really want that to happen.
Yeah.
I think it would be even more so than the Lakers from an NBA standpoint. That single move
would even it out.
Would even out, like, for sure it won't be a 50-50 spread, but I think it'll just make it that much more fun again. You have New York sliding into the playoff race. Instead of 2-3 teams that are under 500, you have 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And you have an intriguing Eastern Conference like team that just comes back in the mix.
And I think KD is also just a hooper. Like, I think he just wants to hoop.
Yeah.
He just wants to keep playing ball.
Yeah.
So I think wherever that culture is best set forth for him, he'll go there.
That'd be amazing. That'd be so fun.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did go to a smaller market team, but I think primarily, KD at the Garden would be amazing.
Yeah.
KD at Barclays, maybe with Brooklyn, maybe. They're a little bit better cultured over there for now.
Yeah.
I don't know where else he would be able to go in terms of the dollars.
Yeah.
He's not going to go to the Florida teams. Maybe Miami, but I don't know. I don't know. I think you would probably choose New York over Miami. No. All right, quickly, before we go, I want to get into this officially on the pod here. Myself and Raf and former guests Asan and my regular host German, we all have very distinct experiences in the world of interactions with the opposite sex. Now, we're not going to put anybody's news out there.
Okay.
But I want to talk about something that has been a prevalent topic whenever I hang out with Asan, Raf, and German.
Yep.
German and I, we grew up in this, we have the same environment, sort of. We're in the same side of town. We went to the same high school. In large part, we have the same circle of friends, obviously. So our life can be mirrored rather closely.
Mm-hmm.
Outside looking in, you and Asan developed a relationship while you guys were in Dallas. You lived the Dallas life, plus you're now both back here in LA.
Sure.
So I would say you guys are more closely linked than sort of any other twosome, right?
Okay.
Now, ladies and gentlemen of the pod,
No idea where this is going.
what I want to get to is just the impact, or yeah, I guess impact's a good word. The impact that you have versus the impact that I have, and the severity of that. And like Asan and Raf kind of shrug off the notion of like, yeah, I'm talking to these girls, but it's nothing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And yet, despite what's happening in your life, regardless of it's today, yesterday, tomorrow, whatever, my impression is there's still a part of you that's like, nah, man, like, you know, it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Where me and German are shouting, fuck you. What do you mean it's nothing? So I want to know, like, why, despite what's going on, you know, I mean, I guess I can't just ask Asan, why is it that you still feel like it is insignificant versus why I think it's significant? And so I want you to go first, and then I have a rebuttal.
Totally. He's ready. And we talked about this at the gym the other day. I think growing up, I've obviously been, I would say, a pretty sociable person. I would lean towards an extrovert, though I'd argue that I'm more of an omnivert. So I've had the ability to connect with people and do all of that. But still at my core, I'm the boy that was trying to figure out how to talk to girls, right, when I was in middle school and high school. So I remember in high school just with the struggles I was having talking to the opposite sex. And I felt that I started to build this, I guess, safety net, and just to prepare myself for rejection. And I've had that happen a couple times. And to be very honest, as I've grown to become my own, to becoming a young man, it's transferred over as I get into the later stages of adulthood at what just turned 28. And I feel like at this point in now being single, came out of a long-term relationship last year. Now coming back into the fold, I'm adopting a lot of those, I wouldn't say old habits, but that old mindset. And that's why when things start to develop, be it a brunch date that becomes a second date, you know, a couple months ago, or, you know, someone new that I'm talking or that I met, I have told myself that it's not a thing, because I guess I'm just trying to prepare for something either bad to happen or
You're assuming it's going down a certain path.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And I guess I don't want to get either too excited or have the notion that, yes, we are going to be together, or yeah, she's totally into me, because of the possibility that she's not. And
yeah.
Even though I've gained that confidence and that ability, it's just been something that I've been ingrained to do. And it's just something that I'm just trying to shake, if I can, going into the new year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can hear that. I can see that.
Okay. Rebuttal.
So I see it's a difference of view. Now, I obviously can't speak on behalf of German, but what I'm about to say, I know German will agree.
Okay.
You look at the world, or the dating world, as like, holy shit, something may or may not be happening, but based on my past experience, it may not end favorably for me. So I have to be ready for that, to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. This is me and German's viewpoint. Oh shit. It's been so long since I've had any sort of meaningful interaction.
Yeah.
That I'm going to squeeze this moment as hard as I can, because it will be a very long time again. Like, it's a different form of rejection. It will be a rejection from an entire gender as opposed to a rejection from a date.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, I've been in your shoes. I have definitely been in that boat for sure. And honestly, you just have to go out and just be a hoe for a little bit. You know, I think now it's sort of just when you have to kind of have like that like moment of like glory, and then the moment like that feeling of like everything swept under you.
Mm.
And then you'll realize like in both scenarios, like there was so much that's out of your control. In my experience now, I'm not, I can't even say it with a straight face. I'm not a guy who goes and like gets a lot of dates or gets a lot of girls or like popular with the women in a romantic sense.
Mm.
But in my experience, just seeing people and also experiencing for myself, because I have to combine that. I can't just withdraw from personal experience. Let's say there's 5 girls and there's 5 different ways you can act.
Okay.
25 different possible scenarios that can come about this combination.
Okay.
Only a few of them will be a match, right? A few of them will click, as you know, depending on the girl and the way you act.
Yeah.
And if you spend, for me, this is what I was doing. I was spending so much time trying to find which one would match that it would almost always never work out, because in the action of trying to get it to match, I would not be the person that she would ideally see in a mate. So then after a while, I was just like, fuck it, let's just try this. I'm just going to be the one singular person that I know how to be and see what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it's been successful, but it's been the most or the least stressful.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, on behalf of German, I would like to say, just enjoy the moment, man. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Don't think so negative. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life.
Sure.
And if you go in thinking you will fail, you will fail.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking you will succeed, you may fail, but that's the only way you'll win.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. If you go in assuming you're gonna lose, yeah, you're gonna lose.
Mm-hmm.
If you go in trying to win, you may win, you may lose. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to give yourself that chance.
True.
Yeah. And fuck you. Yeah, and fuck you too, Hassan. God damn it.
You've always told me to give myself more credit, so
Yeah, dude.
yeah.
Fuck, man. Stop. Ladies and gentlemen, there's many benefits to being very smart and caring and kind and wholesome in life, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Raf is a very nice, sweet, caring, kind, smart, wholesome human being.
Thank you.
But, you know, there's also benefits to being a little dumber. One of that being is you just not necessarily think too much.
Overthinking it, yeah. Yep.
So that's my benefit. You know, you're a little dumber, then hey, you don't have to think as much. And also on the downside of being dumber, you tear your Achilles. So there, you know, life has a way of balancing out.
Kangsan Kim, personal trainer, life coach.
Raphael, do you have anything to plug? Anything? What's going on in your life?
We just turned 28 this week, my friend. So really just trying to tackle 2019 and trying to just improve every single day. A little bit of that Mamba mentality.
What's your social media handle?
Social media to check in would be Instagram and Twitter at Raf_Manansala.
Perfect. The fuck was that? Where'd the light go off? Oh, is that your laptop?
No idea.
Oh,
Probably.
anyway, this house is haunted. Thank you for listening. You can catch us on Instagram and Twitter at _GTWTB, YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, just check us out there. I'll figure it out. Questions, concerns, emails, comments, you want to come on the pod, Andrew at gtwtv.com. We try to drop every Wednesday. Stay tuned. Thank you for listening to another episode of Good Times with the Boys.
Yes, sir.
German get well soon. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.